The gray metallic walls of the underground bunker reflected the dim light as Captain James Walker stared at the holographic display. His weathered face showed the strain of his discovery. The date was July 15, 2157, and humanity was about to learn a terrible truth. "Play it again," he ordered, his voice rough from lack of sleep. The recording flickered to life, showing a meeting between three Concordat officials in what they thought was a secure room. They spoke freely, not knowing that human intelligence had finally cracked their encryption. "The humans are advancing too quickly," the first alien said, its blue-scaled face showing concern. "Their innovation rate exceeds our predictions." "Already handled," the second one replied, making a gesture of satisfaction. "The new suppression field is working perfectly. Their quantum experiments are failing, and they think it's their own mistake." Walker's fists clenched. For the past 50 years, the Stellar Concordat had posed as humanity's protectors, claiming they were helping Earth develop safely. "For your own good," they said. "To prevent technological disasters," they claimed. All lies. In another part of the facility, Dr. Emily Ross worked frantically at her computer. She had been tracking strange energy signatures across the planet for months. The patterns finally made sense. The aliens weren't just watching Earth. They were farming it. "Captain Walker," she called through the secure line. "I found something worse." She sent the data to his display. "They're not just suppressing our technology. They're harvesting us. Genetic material, resources, everything. Earth isn't under protection. It's a farm." Walker looked at the numbers. Hundreds of secret facilities, hidden by advanced cloaking technology. Thousands of humans missing each year, their disappearances covered up. Massive resource extraction operations, disguised as natural phenomena. The door slid open, and Admiral Thomas Reed walked in. His presence here, in this secret facility beneath the Antarctic ice, meant the situation was worse than Walker imagined. "It's not just us," Reed said, throwing a data chip onto the table. "We've confirmed they're doing this to at least 12 other species, keeping us divided, weak, fighting among ourselves while they take what they want." Walker brought up the global map. Red dots appeared everywhere, Concordat facilities hidden in plain sight. Blue dots showed human resistance cells, growing in number but still too few. Yellow dots marked the locations of their own secret projects, the ones they'd somehow kept hidden. "We have something they don't know about," Ross said, pulling up the schematics of Project Dawn. "The quantum dampeners they use. We found a way around them 3 months ago. Been feeding them false data ever since." Reed nodded grimly. "We're not alone in this fight either. Made contact with a resistance group from the Centauri colonies last week. Turns out, humans out there didn't all die in the failed colonization attempts the Concordat reported. Some survived, hidden, building their strength." Walker walked to the central display, zooming out to show the solar system. "How long until we're ready?" "The defense grid is at 60% capacity," Ross replied. "Hidden factories are running at full speed. Lunar base is nearly operational. We need maybe 3 more months." "We don't have 3 months," Reed cut in. "Look at this." He showed them new data, just arrived. "They're planning something big. Some kind of harvest. We intercept these shipments now, or we might not get another chance." Walker studied the data. The Concordat was bringing in massive transport ships, more than usual. Their usual careful subtlety was slipping, probably because they thought humans were too blind to notice. "They've gotten sloppy," Walker said. "Comfortable. They really think we're just dumb animals." Ross stood up, her face determined. "They forgot something important about Earth's history, about humans." "What's that?" Reed asked. "Every empire that underestimated humans eventually fell." She pulled up historical data. Persian Empire, Roman Empire, Mongol Empire, British Empire. They all thought they were invincible. They all thought they could keep controlling people forever. Walker looked at the others. "Send the word. All cells go to ready status. And send a message to the Centauri resistance. Tell them. Tell them Earth remembers its children. The time for pretending to be weak was over. Humanity had been pushed too far, and now they would show the galaxy why Earth's history was full of empires that fell after making one simple mistake. They thought humans would accept chains forever. Dr. Emily Ross stood in the massive underground chamber, her flashlight beam revealing walls covered in symbols that shouldn't exist. The Antarctic facility had started as a simple research station. Now it was humanity's best-kept secret. "It's impossible," one of her assistants said, running his scanner over the metallic walls. "These markings, they're over 50,000 years old. Humans weren't supposed to have any advanced civilization back then." "The Concordat lie about a lot of things," Ross replied, touching the cool metal surface. "Our history is one of them. Look at this." She pointed her light at a familiar symbol, an ancient representation of an atom perfectly carved into the wall. Above them, through 2 miles of ice, Concordat satellites passed overhead, their sensors blocked by technology they thought impossible for humans to create. They never noticed the massive power readings from deep below or the quantum signals that bounced between similar facilities around the world. "Status report," Ross called out to her team. "Engine test 15 is ready," Dr. Marcus reported from his station. "The new FTL drive is stable, way more efficient than anything the Concordat uses." Along the chamber's walls, massive screens showed real-time data from their hidden projects. Project Dawn's quantum communications network was already linking resistance cells worldwide. Project Shield's planetary defense grid grew stronger each day. But it was Project Legacy that made Ross's heart race. "Show me the latest scan," she ordered. The main screen lit up with a 3D map of Earth. Scattered across every continent, deep underground, were thousands of points of light, ancient facilities like this one, waiting to be awakened. Their ancestors had left them a gift, hidden so well that not even the Concordat's advanced scanners could find them. "Ma'am," one of the technicians called out, "we're getting a signal from Site 17 in the Ural Mountains." They found something big. The screen changed to show a massive underground hangar. Inside were rows of sleek ships, covered in the same markings as the Antarctic facility. They weren't relics. They were waiting, powered down but preserved, like seeds waiting for spring. "How many sites are active now?" Ross asked, checking the global network. 37, Marcus replied. "More coming online each week as we crack the activation codes. The quantum network lets us coordinate without the Concordat noticing." Ross walked to another section of the facility where her team tested new weapons. The aliens thought humans were still playing with basic particle physics. They had no idea that quantum mechanics was just the beginning. "Energy output is off the charts," a weapons scientist reported, showing her the latest test results. "The ancient tech combines perfectly with our new developments. It's like they knew what we would need." A message flashed on Ross's personal screen. High priority from Captain Walker. The Concordat was moving their harvest ships into position earlier than expected. They needed to speed up their preparations. "Status of the Luna base?" she asked. "Hidden shipyards are at 89% capacity," Marcus answered. "The stealth system works perfectly. As far as the Concordat knows, the far side of the moon is just full of useless craters." Ross looked at the ancient symbols again, understanding them better now. They weren't just decorations or scientific formulas. They were a message passed down through time. "Wait. Grow stronger. When the time comes, remember you were never meant for chains." "Begin final testing," she ordered. "All projects, all sites, and wake up the defense systems in Brazil and South Africa." Quietly. As her team rushed to comply, Ross sent a message to Walker. "We're ready. The old gods left us their weapons, and we've made them better." In orbit, the Concordat ships moved into position, their crews confident in their superiority. They never wondered why humans had survived so many extinction-level events in their past. They never asked why Earth's deep scan readings were so strange. They never questioned why humans, despite all their suppression, kept inventing new ways to fight. They were about to learn. Admiral Thomas Reed watched the final preparations from his command center deep within Mount McKinley. The screens around him showed resistance cells across the globe, all waiting for his signal. On the main display, a countdown timer ticked away the final minutes before humanity's first strike. All stations, final check, he ordered through the quantum comm system. The responses came instantly, another sign that Dr. Ross's team had achieved the impossible. No delay, no chance of interception. European Command, ready. Asian Coalition, ready. African Union, ready. South American Front, ready. Pacific Defense, ready. Above them, the Concordat's massive harvest ships moved into position, their crews confident in their routine mission. They had done this dozens of times before. The humans would sleep through it all, their primitive sensors blind to the theft of their resources and people. "Sir," his communications officer called out. "Message from Luna Base. Captain Walker reports they're in position." Reed nodded, checking the time. 3 minutes until the Concordat ships began their harvest. 3 minutes until everything changed. "Send the activation codes to all defense grid stations," he ordered. Around the world, hidden weapons platforms powered up, their energy signatures masked by the quantum technology the aliens thought impossible for humans. "Sir," another officer called out, "Concordat ships are launching their suppression field earlier than expected. They're trying to knock out our communications." Reed smiled. "Let them try." The alien ships fired their dampening waves, expecting to blind and deafen Earth's primitive technology. Instead, their sensors showed something impossible: human communications continuing uninterrupted. "All stations, Reed broadcast. Execute Operation Daybreak. Now." The far side of the moon lit up as hidden human ships launched from their caves and craters. Leading them was Captain Walker's flagship, built with a combination of ancient knowledge and new human innovations. The Concordat's monitoring station on Luna never saw them coming. The first they knew of humanity's rebellion was when quantum-tipped missiles phased through their impenetrable shields and struck their critical systems. "Luna Station is dark," Walker reported, moving to Phase 2. Reed watched as humanity's hidden fleet engaged the harvest ships. The aliens had numbers and size on their side, but humanity had surprise and decades of suppressed rage. "All ground stations," Reed ordered, "begin broadcast. Every screen on Earth, every alien communication device, every quantum channel lit up with the same message." Dr. Ross had designed it to bypass all known alien encryption. "To the stellar Concordat, for 50 years, you have lied to us. You called yourself protectors while stealing our resources, our people, our future. You thought us primitive, blind, and weak. Today, you learn the truth. Humanity was never meant for chains. We are not your cattle. We are not your slaves. We are the descendants of survivors, of fighters, of those who looked at impossible odds and still found a way to win. You should have studied Earth's history better. You should have asked yourselves why so many empires fell trying to control us. Today, the harvest ends. Today, humanity says, no more." The message repeated in every known alien language, and as it played, Earth's defense grid fully activated. Hidden weapons platforms emerged from oceans, mountains, and deserts. Ancient facilities buried beneath the ice and sand powered up their shields. In orbit, Walker's fleet struck the surprised harvest ships from multiple directions. The aliens had superior technology, but they had grown complacent. They never expected their cattle to have teeth. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "Concordat ships are calling for reinforcements." Reed looked at the battle displays, watching humanity's hidden strength finally reveal itself. "Good," he said. "Let them come. Let them all come. It's time they learned why Earth's history is full of broken chains and fallen empires." The real war was about to begin, and humanity was finally ready to fight it on their own terms. The sky burned red above New York as the Concordat's revenge fleet arrived. Massive warships darkened the heavens, their weapons primed to punish the upstart humans who dared to resist. In his command bunker, Admiral Reed watched the enemy ships fill his tactical display. "How many?" "Over 3,000 ships, sir," his officer replied. "The largest fleet they've ever assembled." The Concordat's first strike hit like a hammer. Energy beams powerful enough to crack continents lashed down at Earth's major cities. But instead of the expected destruction, they met something impossible. Shields of pure quantum energy, based on technology aliens thought humans were centuries from discovering. Defense grid holding at 82%, Dr. Ross reported from her Antarctic command center. "Their weapons are strong, but our shields are stronger. The ancient tech is working perfectly." Around the world, humanity's hidden strength revealed itself. Massive defense platforms rose from the oceans, their weapons tracking the enemy fleet. In orbit, Captain Walker's ships engaged in hit-and-run attacks, using maneuvers that the Concordat's tactical computers called impossible. "They're targeting civilian areas," Walker reported, his fleet darting between enemy formations, trying to force us to surrender. But the aliens didn't know about humanity's other secret. For years, they'd been building underground. Massive shelter complexes beneath every major city could hold millions. While energy beams scared the Earth's surface, humanity's people waited safely below, protected by layers of quantum shielding. "Launch the counterattack," Reed ordered. "Show them why you don't corner a species that survived ice ages and asteroids." From hidden silos across the planet, humanity's missiles rose. Not the primitive rockets the Concordat expected, but weapons that phased through normal space, guided by quantum computers that made their own paths through reality. The alien fleet's mighty shields meant nothing. The missiles simply shifted through them, appearing inside their ships. The night sky lit up with explosions as proud warships became clouds of debris. "Enemy fleet pulling back to regroup," Walker reported. "They didn't expect us to hit so hard." But the Concordat had numbers on their side. As their first wave retreated, a second wave moved in. Their weapons had changed. Now they fired strange energy that twisted and turned, trying to find ways through human shields. "They're adapting," Ross warned. Shield strength dropping to 75%, 70%. Reed watched the battle displays, his mind racing. The Concordat thought they were fighting primitive humans using stolen technology. They didn't understand that humans had done what they did best, taken something and made it better. "Activate the gravity wells," he ordered. Across Earth's surface, hidden generators powered up. They didn't try to shield against the enemy's attacks. Instead, they bent space itself, turning the aliens' own weapons against them. Energy beams curved back on their own ships, while missiles spun in impossible loops to strike their launchers. "It's working," Ross reported, excitement in her voice. "Their fleet is in chaos. They've never seen anything like this." The battle raged for hours. Earth's surface was scared, but its people survived. The mighty Concordat fleet, which had expected an easy victory, found itself being torn apart by weapons and tactics they couldn't understand. "Sir," Walker called, "we're detecting massive energy readings. They're calling in their reserve fleet." Reed nodded grimly. This was just the beginning. The Concordat would return with even more ships, even stronger weapons. But now they knew something important. Humanity wasn't just fighting for survival. They were fighting for revenge, for freedom, for every human taken in the night, for every resource stolen, for every lie told. "Let them come," Reed said, watching his displays light up with more enemy signals. "Humanity's done hiding. It's time to show the galaxy why every empire that tried to chain us eventually fell." The real battle was just beginning. But for the first time in 50 years, humanity fought on their own terms, with their own strength, and they were winning. Captain Walker stood on the bridge of his ship, watching the stars through the main viewport. 3 months had passed since Earth's first strike. Now humanity's fleet moved between the stars, carrying a message of freedom to others who suffered under the Concordat's rule. New signal detected, his sensor officer reported, coming from the mining colony on Beta 9. The screen showed a massive mining operation where the Concordat forced another species, the rock-like Krell, to work in horrible conditions. Just like Earth, they were treated as primitive laborers, their true potential suppressed. "Send the message," Walker ordered. The quantum broadcast pierced through the Concordat's communication blocks. Within minutes, the Krell workers saw the truth. Videos of Earth's rebellion, proof that resistance was possible, and most importantly, an offer of alliance. "They're responding," the communications officer said excitedly. "The Krell are rising up." Similar scenes played out across dozens of worlds. Every species the Concordat had chained found new hope in humanity's example. Earth's ships brought them weapons, shields, and the knowledge that they weren't alone anymore. Back in the Sol system, Dr. Ross made an even more important discovery. Her team had finally decoded more of the ancient files hidden in Earth's underground facilities. "Admiral Reed," she called through the quantum network, "you need to see this. We weren't the only humans who escaped." The files revealed a stunning truth. When the Concordat first came to Earth 50 years ago, some humans had seen through their lies. Small groups had escaped into deep space, using hidden ships and ancient technology. They'd built secret colonies, staying hidden, growing stronger. "Signal detected from the Orion Arm," Ross's computers reported. "It's using our quantum codes. Sir, it's human." The message came from a hidden colony called New Eden. They'd survived and built their own civilization far from the Concordat's eyes. And they weren't alone. More hidden colonies reached out. New Terra, Hope's Haven, Freedom's Point. All this time, Reed said, looking at the growing list of human colonies, "We thought we were alone. But our people found a way to survive, to stay free." The hidden colonies had developed their own technologies, their own ways of fighting. Now they joined Earth's rebellion, adding their strength to the growing alliance of free species. Walker's fleet grew larger each day as liberated ships joined his cause. The Krell brought their massive mining vessels, now converted to warships. The swift Aetheri, freed from their prison worlds, added their light cruisers. The mechanical Teth shared their advanced AI systems. "Status report," Reed asked during a global briefing. 27 systems liberated, Walker reported from his flagship. "The Free Systems Alliance now has over 5,000 ships. More join us every day." "The Concordat is losing control," Ross added. "Their empire depended on keeping species divided and weak. Now we're united and strong." But their success had a price. The Concordat's leaders were furious. Their perfect system of control was falling apart. Reports came in of them gathering their most powerful weapons, preparing to crush the rebellion once and for all. "Let them come," Walker said, watching his combined fleet of humans and aliens train together. "We're not afraid anymore. We're not alone anymore." Earth had done more than break its own chains. It had shown the galaxy that freedom was possible, that no empire, no matter how powerful, could hold people down forever. "The Concordat thought they could keep us weak by keeping us divided," Reed told his officers. "Instead, they gave us something powerful, a reason to unite." The real test was coming. The Concordat would bring everything they had, try to make an example of the humans who dared to rebel. But they still didn't understand what they were fighting against. They weren't just fighting humans anymore. They were fighting everyone they had ever tried to chain. And chains, as Earth's long history showed, always break eventually. The emergency alarms woke Admiral Reed from a rare moment of sleep. The command center screens flashed red as new data poured in from deep space sensors. "Show me," he ordered, his voice tense. The main display revealed a nightmare. The Concordat had brought their legendary planet killer fleet. 5 massive ships, each one bigger than a small moon. Behind them came thousands of support vessels, all heading straight for Earth. "They're done playing games," Captain Walker reported through the quantum link. His fleet was already moving to defensive positions. Those ships can crack a planet's core. They've only used them twice in their history. Dr. Ross's voice cut in, urgent but controlled. Project Phoenix is ready. But sir, we've never tested it at full power. The risks. We're out of options, Reed interrupted. How long until the enemy fleet arrives? 6 hours at their current speed, Walker answered. We've gathered every ship we can. The Free Systems Alliance is with us. Krell dreadnoughts, Aetheri strike crafts, everything we have. But those planet killers. Reed made his decision. Dr. Ross, begin Project Phoenix. Walker, get your fleet to these coordinates. Everyone else, execute Emergency Plan Omega. Around the solar system, humanity's greatest gamble began. The hidden facilities on Jupiter's moons activated, sending quantum signals deep into the gas giant. Similar signals pulse from bases around Saturn and Neptune. Sir, Ross reported, the gas giants are responding, converting their mass into usable energy. If this works, Reed finished, we change the rules of space combat forever. The Concordat fleet approached with absolute confidence. Their planet killers had never failed, had never even been damaged. Their commanders didn't worry about the scattered human fleet ahead of them, or wonder why their enemies weren't retreating. That was their first mistake. Energy levels at maximum, Ross reported. Jupiter is ready. Saturn and Neptune standing by. Reed took a deep breath. Captain Walker, is your fleet in position? Yes, sir. Everyone knows their part. Even if this doesn't work, it's been an honor. The planet killer fleet came into range. Their massive weapons powered up, ready to tear Earth apart. Now, Reed ordered. Project Phoenix activated. Quantum generators around Jupiter created a controlled reaction that human scientists had theorized, but never dared to test. The gas giant's enormous mass became pure energy, channeled through human ships and weapons. The first planet killer ship fired at Earth. But its beam met something impossible, a shield made from the power of Jupiter itself. The energy was so intense that space itself warped around it. All ships, attack pattern Phoenix, Walker commanded. His fleet, powered by energy that could fuel a star, struck at the shocked Concordat forces. The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries. Human ships, glowing with the power of a gas giant, tore through Concordat defenses like paper. The supposedly invincible planet killers found their weapons reflected back at them by quantum shields powered by Saturn's mass. They're breaking formation, Walker reported, his ship leading another attack run. Their fleet is in chaos. But the Concordat commanders weren't finished. They ordered their planet killers to fire everything at Earth, hoping to overwhelm even these impossible defenses. Neptune power grid online, Ross called, redirecting energy to primary weapons. The space around Earth's orbit lit up brighter than a supernova. Human ships wielded the power of 3 gas giants, while the Concordat brought weapons that could destroy worlds. The battle was visible from every planet in the solar system, a light show that would be remembered forever. Main planet killer is targeting Earth directly, Walker warned. All ships, converge on my position. We end this here. The fate of not just humanity, but every species that dreamed of freedom hung in the balance. The Battle of Jupiter had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Great Hall of the newly formed Galactic Council buzzed with activity. Representatives from 100 freed worlds gathered to witness something unprecedented, the formal surrender of the stellar Concordat. Admiral Reed stood at the main podium, his uniform still showing scorch marks from the Battle of Jupiter. Beside him, Captain Walker and Dr. Ross watched as their former oppressors approached. The Concordat's supreme leader, no longer wearing the grand robes of office, walked forward with shuffling steps. He paused, struggling with words that no Concordat leader had ever spoken. We surrender unconditionally to the Free Systems Alliance. In the audience, Humans sat next to Krell, their former rocky slaves now equals. Ethery ships patrolled alongside human vessels. The mechanical Teth shared their knowledge freely. Everything the Concordat had tried to prevent had come to pass. The terms are simple, Reed announced, his voice carrying to every corner of the galaxy through the quantum network. The Concordat will be dissolved. All suppressed technologies will be shared. All enslaved worlds will be freed. And Earth. He paused, looking at the holographic display showing his home planet. The scars of battle were still visible, but they were healing. Just like humanity's spirit had healed after every disaster, every setback, every attempt to break it. Earth will lead the new Galactic Council of Free Species, he continued. Not as rulers, but as guarantors of freedom. Because we remember what it means to be chained. We remember what it means to break free. Dr. Ross stepped forward, activating a larger display. It showed the aftermath of Project Phoenix, the gas giants slowly returning to normal as the quantum energy dissipated. The greatest weapons ever created, now being transformed into sources of power for peaceful uses. The knowledge of the ancients will be shared, she announced. Not hoarded, not suppressed, but used to lift up all species. Our children will explore the stars without fear, without artificial limits. Captain Walker took his turn at the podium. Our fleet remains strong, but its purpose has changed. We stand ready not to conquer, not to suppress, but to defend. Any species that tries to enslave another will face the combined might of the Free Systems Alliance. The hall erupted in cheers. From 100 worlds came the sound of celebration, of chains breaking, of freedom taking root. Representatives from the hidden human colonies stepped forward. From New Eden, New Terra, Hope's Haven, and dozens more. They had survived in secret, keeping humanity's spirit alive among the stars. Now they could finally come home. Let the galaxy remember this day, Reed declared. Not as the day an empire fell, but as the day freedom rose. Remember why it happened. Because one species refused to accept chains. Because humanity said, enough. The quantum network carried his words to every corner of known space. On countless worlds, former slaves celebrated their freedom. In research centers, scientists from different species shared their knowledge openly. In space, mixed crews of humans and aliens patrolled together, protecting their shared liberty. The Concordat's leaders were led away, their power broken forever. Their mighty planet-killer fleet, once the terror of the galaxy, now drifted as empty hulks around Jupiter, monuments to the folly of thinking any force could chain the human spirit forever. What now? Walker asked quietly, watching the celebrations. Ross smiled, holding up a data crystal. We found more hidden facilities, more ancient knowledge. There's a whole universe out there, waiting to be explored. But this time, we explore it as equals, as friends. Reed looked out at the gathered species, former enemies now allies, former slaves now partners. Now, he said, we do what humans have always done. We build, we grow, we explore, but most importantly, he turned to face the great window showing the star-filled galaxy, a galaxy now free from chains. We make sure no empire ever forgets why you should never ever try to enslave humanity. Because we don't just break our own chains. We break everyone's chains, the gathered representatives finished in unison. And among the stars, a new era began. Not an era of empires and slaves, but one of freedom and cooperation. All because humanity had finally said, enough.